Hi, I am Shubhanu from team AIOverflow, and I'll begin our demonstration of the project RiskMaster. So this is the basic homepage. We could not get time to implement login, so we just implemented a simple page where you can actually come and give your employee ID, and you can sign as an employee, sign as an admin. For now, both of them have the same functions, but we can create different different role-based functionality for both of them. So first, we can just sign in as an employee. And the page we're greeted with is a chat section, where we can ask questions based on our database. So we have used an SQL database. Chetan will explain what database and what are the attributes of the database. And basically, we can ask questions to the LLM because the LLM is trained on that database, and we can see what kind of answers or how it answers the questions. For example, we take this particular question only, and we ask it that was the percentage of loan takers with different educations, and we click on the send button. So let's see, we have to wait a little bit because the LLM is going through a chain of thought. Chetan explains this in a better way when he explains the backend. It actually goes through the chain of thought and it makes the SQL query and it gets the answers in the correct way. So it takes a little bit of time. So as you can see, here's the answer that percentage of loan take different education. Like for bachelor's, there is 25.1, 25.21, high school is 25.03, master's is this, and PhD is this. Right? Okay, so this is the first feature of the software RiskMaster. The second feature is we can add any kind of customer to the database. We have picked out certain attributes for understanding the loan capabilities of a customer. So we have added these things. So for example, just give a loan ID. So for example, I give something like 105, and I give the name as, let's say, SS Roy. I give the age as 22. I give my income, let's say, as 2500. I take a loan of, let's say, 5 lakhs. Okay, and my credit score is, let's say, 750, and number of credit lines, let's say, is 4, and months employed, I can say, let's say, I've been employed for 6 months. Interest rate, let's say, is around 12.4%. The loan term is, let's say, for example, it's 12.5 months. PTI ratio, let's consider it as 0.65. Education, right now, bachelor's. Employment type, let's say, part-time. Marital status, single. Has mortgage? No. Has dependency? Yes. Loan purpose is for, let's say, education. Has cosigner? Yes. And I add the customer. So once the customer gets added, we get a pop-up that customer added successfully. And when we go and see all the customers, we can see all the customers which are currently added to the database. So these are the 4 customers. We added this particular customer for now. So let's just look at any kind of customer we added. So let's look at this customer called Ash Sharma. We can view the customer, and we can first of all predict whether the default, whether the person will be a defaulter using machine learning. Chetan explains this how the algorithm works. So this is the first prediction which happens, and it says that loan will not default based on this particular attributes, and we can also get insights based on this particular person, whether or like how likely the person is to actually be a defaulter, or as you can see at the bottom, you can see there are some topics which the LLM has covered, like applicant's ability to repay the loan, is able to repay the loan is good, they have a high credit score, they have a long history of employment, they have low debt to income ratio, like that, and they have a cosigner and all these things, and estimate number of installments skipped, then other relevant insights and all these things, and it gives a total insight to you as an employee or as the admin or as the bank manager to understand how well the person is able to actually pay the loan or not, or will they be a defaulter. So we can take a look at this as well. So that covers the basic of our website. Basically, it has covered all the features, and we have made it under the theme of default prediction. We have made a few segments also where you can just apply for a loan and you can view for the loans and all the other things, but we did not get much time, and we felt it was not necessary because our main functionality was through this only, add customer, show customers. So we implemented that only. These are just for show. Right, and my friend Chetan will explain the backend of RiskMaster.
Hello, Jury. This is Chetan. I hope you would have enjoyed the demo given by Shubhanu. It's basically the front end kind of thing. You're just showing how exactly the UI UX looks. So the whole part is in the backend. So I was the one who created the backend and who embedded the ML and LLMs part of it. So let me real quick make you understand how exactly the backend works. So basically, there are 4 routes. There's a detailed Swagger doc given right over here. So there are 4 routes: to query out loans, to predict for loans, to get insights of user, to store the user data, to get the top new loans, and to get the user generic user data out there. So the whole backend was created on Fast API, and all the routes being tested using unit tests in the Python itself. So if you just look at the demo of each of the things, like let's say that I query out. So as we already told that we initiated the chain of thoughts, like we just exactly replicated the LLM, how a human being thinks, right? On a very big database. Of course, if I give a very big database to a human being and ask it to understand the data directly, he can't do. So let's make it much easier with LLM. So let's take a very generic example. The backend route is running here, I guess, to just show you how exactly the chain of thought works. So let's say I have a query here that I want to know what are the percentage of the loan takers that have a master's degree to just get an insight. Like let's say I'm a brand manager or a cluster manager, I want to know this. So I just send a query, and this is how Shubhanu sends the backend queries. So if you see very carefully here, there's something called the whole concept of chain of thoughts being initiated. So firstly, the thought generates like, okay, first I got a table called loan defaulters, and then it understands the table and try to write a SQL query, and all the tables are in SQL query. And then if you see, it starts running with errors because of course the LLM is a little bit dumb, so it tries to understand what error it made and automatically rectify it, making it a bit more intelligent at the same time. So it just keep on looking that it's getting the error in the master's, just a very small thing that it's not able to structure the string properly, and soon after a while it just structures correctly and then gives you the actual output of how many exactly masters are there. So it just gives you the final answer there saying that there are 20% of students with master's degree. So this is how exactly the chain of thought works in the backend. And let's say that I have a particular user, and I want to know whether he's able to pay the loan. I want a detailed analysis of it, like a complete small report, a small gist of it. So when I just hit send it, so it just goes to the chain of thoughts in the backend again, and it does the same thing and gives me the output here, saying that whether the user is actually good or not. You would have seen this in the front end really good. So it says that applicant is ability to repay the loan is pretty good. So the applicant has a credit score of 250, which is considered to be below average. That indicates that the applicant has a history of financial difficulty and may be more likely to be a default on the loan. So it actually understands each and every single attribute of the data. And yes, we took a lot of attributes for the data after researching how the loan process looks like. So the loan ID, age, income, DTI ratio, education, marital status. So there can be more attributes, but we just want to show a proof of concept that this can be scalable to any kind of database. So like this, we have a route to add the users in our database. We have the route to get the top 10 users or whatever it is. So we have 4 or 5 routes max to max, and each route is very powerful. And the whole thing is hosted on OnRender. It's a cloud service which used by Red Bull and all other big giant companies out there. And it is hosted on 1 CPU, 2 GB RAM instance. So this is a real quick understanding of demo. And yes, we have used a lot of Jupyter as our tool to do a lot of analysis like EDA and choosing the algorithm, initiating the chain of thought and all. So I hope you understood the backend part, and thank you very much.